Hi, I'm Dr. Ivan Meisner, founder of BNI. Welcome to our video series on the BNI traditions. This is part 5 of the BNI traditions video series. In this video, we're going to talk about the 4th of the BNI traditions, which is testimonials. Now, this is the first one that's really a tactical tradition as opposed to a strategic tradition. This is one of the first techniques that we changed in BNI. When I started BNI in 1985, I kind of created it to fit my personal style. I tend to be pretty efficient. If you walk into my desk, into my office, you look at my desk, it's clean, it's organized, everything has its place. And so when I created the agenda for the very first meetings, it was very systematic. It was very organized. By the way, I typed up that first agenda on an IBM Selectric typewriter. I'm really dating myself now. An IBM Selectric typewriter. That's back when I typed Columbus style, seek out and discover. And I did this whole agenda. It was one page. This is what was to happen in a meeting. And when it got down to the referral part of the meeting, what I said in that one-page agenda was that if you had a referral, you gave it. And if you didn't, you passed, because that is very efficient. What I didn't understand was the importance of testimonials, and I stumbled upon that concept early on in the organization. It was one of the very first changes that we made to the agenda. What happened was, about 3 months into the organization, chiropractor came up to me from the group and he said, you know, I haven't gotten any referrals yet from the BNI group, Ivan, and it's been about 3 months. Now, he said, I know it takes time, and that's not what's worrying me. What's worrying me is nobody's even talked to me about chiropractic. They haven't had a discussion with me about chiropractic. They kind of avoid my profession, which makes me think that many of them haven't even used a chiropractor. Now, you have to think back. This is back into the mid-1980s. Chiropractors weren't as well known back in the mid-80s in the United States as they are today. And so people really didn't know much about that profession. Was it a real medical profession? And they were a little hesitant. And to his credit, he got that. He understood that. So he said, what can I do to get them to start dialoguing with me about chiropractic? They need to learn about what I do, and it's not moving along very quickly. So I said, gee, you know, why don't you try a free initial consultation? Great idea back then. We do it all the time now, but we hadn't done it in BNI. You say to the members, come on into my facility. I'll do an x-ray, I'll do an adjustment, and see what chiropractic is all about. He said, that is a great idea. I'll try it next week. So the next week he came in and he said, I would like to offer a free initial consultation. If you come on into my office, I'll do the x-ray, I'll do an adjustment. You can find out what chiropractic is all about. And he sat down. You know how many people took him up on that offer? One. Only one person took him up on that offer. He came to me after the meeting. He said, brilliant idea, Ivan. They didn't exactly flock to me. I said, yeah, I'm sorry. You know, try it again. See if it works. You know, maybe you'll pick up some people over time. Well, it's really interesting because he did try that out. The member went to see him. The member came back to the next meeting. And at that meeting, the member stood up when it came time for the referrals. And as you may recall, the way I did the original agenda was that if you had a referral, you gave it, and if you didn't, you passed. So we were going around the room, and one person would stand up and say, I have 2 referrals, and then the next person would say, pass, and the next person would say, I have 1 referral, and give it, and then pass. And so we got to him, the person who had just seen the chiropractor, and he stood up and he said, well, Ivan, I don't have a referral today, but I don't want to pass. I said, okay, what do you want to do? He said, well, I'd like to say a few words. I said, okay, what do you want to say? He said, well, you know what? I just went to see Dr. Rubin last week in that free initial consultation thing that he had. Wow, I have had this lower back problem for most of my life where if I stand for too long, my lower back just kills me. So I thought, what the heck? Let me go in and try it. Went in to see him, he did an x-ray, then he walked me around his offices. Man, you guys would be impressed. It was amazing. I had no idea all the things that he did. In one part of his office, he does massage to loosen the muscles, to do the adjustment. And in another part of the office, of course, he has the x-rays, and then he does adjustments. And hey, did you know he does sports medicine? I had no idea that he specialized in sports medicine. So he showed me all around his office, and we got back into the room with the x-ray, and he showed me the lower part of my back and what the problem was, and he did an adjustment. Then he had me come back a couple of days later, did a second adjustment, and you know what? For the first time in a decade, my lower back feels great. This is what he said to him. You're all crazy if you don't take him up on this offer. And I looked around the room and I saw these people filling out referral slips. I mean, he must have got 7 or 8 referrals that day. And it happened because one person stood up and said, hey, you should use this person. I use this person. And here was my experience in using that person. What I discovered was that the way I laid out the agenda in the beginning was very efficient, but it wasn't very effective. And effective is always more important than efficient. If you can, in your testimonials, hone in on specific elements of what that person did right for you, then you're giving a great testimonial. Take a look at the book, The 1 Minute Manager by Ken Blanchard. It's a great book on management, but there's actually an incredible lesson about testimonials in there. One of the techniques that he talks about is giving 1-minute praisings. Well, let me tell you something. His idea about 1-minute praisings is our testimonials to a T. It has to be specific. If you're specific, then you're teaching people what to listen for in giving a referral to other people. Specific is terrific when it comes to giving testimonials. This is one of the core fundamental traditions of BNI, and it's a fundamental tradition for a couple of reasons. It's really a great example of how over time, in many areas, and this was the first, but in many areas, we saw something that was efficient but not effective. We saw something that could be done better, and we changed the manual. So I took that agenda that I typed up on an IBM Selectric typewriter, and I pulled out some whiteout. Do you remember what whiteout is? All you young guys, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But I pulled out some whiteout, and I whited out the phrase about passing, and I put in, give a testimonial. Testimonials was really the first change that we made to our agenda. The BNI traditions are very important, and one of our traditions is that we change things that aren't working in the organization. Over time, we watch, we see, with thousands of chapters all around the world, we've made every mistake you can think of. Don't reinvent the wheel. Our program works well because we've made changes over time. And testimonials, well, they were the very first change that we made to our agenda. And they're still critical to the success of the organization today. They are one of BNI's most important traditions. This is Dr. Ivan Meisner, founder of BNI. Thanks for watching.